Welcome everybody. So I wanted specifically to do a class geared around post-viral recovery, because as some of you know that I'm just recovering myself from this virus, and so I kind of know what it entails, and it's very much connected with breathing and with the chest. So it makes you quite breathless. So I'm still in the recovery mode, so I'm probably still a bit breathless. So what we're going to do today is just very gentle, and I really want us to connect into our physicality and into our bodies. And I think it's good even if you haven't had the virus, because at this time a lot of us are feeling a little bit frightened or discombobulated with what's happening around us. So just to bring ourselves back to our body, to our physicality, to our breath, is helping to calm us, and it makes us more able to face the day. So what I would recommend is everyone has, we need some kind of chair which is solid and a nice height. And we need some cushions, which we may need to use later on, and perhaps some blocks. If you're lucky enough to have a bolster, bolsters can be really good too. Yeah, and also if you've got a big blanket, if you can have a big blanket to hand, because we might need that shortly. I'll just give you a moment to get those things. So we're going to start off in a sitting position, and we want to make sure that we're able to, in a position that we can maintain. So again, you know, if you're not used to doing yoga, and if you're not used to sitting on the floor, when you do initially start to maybe go into a cross-legged position, you often find that it's really quite hard to lift your spine up. And these muscles here, which are called the erecti spinae muscles, have to get strengthened up before you can really manage that. And it's also connected to the to your hip flexors as well. So what we do in order to make sure that we can sit comfortably is to give ourselves whatever height we need to make that position really comfortable and sustainable. And especially when we're in a sort of recovery mode, we don't want to be putting any extra stress on the body. Now, the reason why we don't really exercise when we're ill, apart from the fact that we don't really feel like it, is because when you're ill, your heart is working extra hard in order to help you get better. So if then you start exercising and you're putting extra strain on your heart, that's clearly not a good plan. So, and that goes for when you're recovering. So this is why we're going to do everything nice and chill. So first of all, I'd like us just to bring our hands, you can do whichever one first, and just bring your hands onto your chest, and we're just going to start breathing. And as you breathe, you may notice how your chest rises and falls on that inhalation and exhalation. Lovely. So we're going to turn that into the ujjayi breath. Some of you might already be doing that. So what is an ujjayi breath? Okay, so what happens is we breathe in and out through the nose and out through the nose. But when we breathe in, just imagine you're taking the breath in through the front of the throat. So you make a slight sound like this. Doesn't have to be that loud, I'm obviously exaggerating it for you. And then when you breathe out, again, imagine you're taking the breath out through the front of the throat. And you notice as you do that, that you can actually feel how the breath is going into your back as well. See if you notice that the back ribs expand. Yeah, get a bit more height, Richard, good idea. So we can just close our eyes for a moment, breathing in through the nose, out through the nose, just allowing that ujjayi breath in through the front of the throat, out through the front of the throat. Allowing the shoulders to relax down. Okay, and then let's just take our open our arms wide, and then just see if you can bring your chest forward slightly. So slightly squeezing between the shoulder blades. Keep that breath going. Let's do 3 breaths like that. Okay, and then closing again, but this time put your other hand at the bottom. And again, let's get our breathing back so we're feeling that breath in through the nose and out through the nose. Taking the breath as if you were breathing in and out through the front of the throat. Lovely, and then we'll open our arms again. This is what you could call the Titanic move. So imagine you're on the prow of a ship and you feel the wind streaming into you. And your chest is moving into the wind. Squeeze your shoulders together. Really allow the breath into your body, in through the nose, out through the nose. Two more breaths. Lovely, and then release. Okay, so now I'm just going to take one hand, doesn't matter which one, put it on our chest. Just bring the other one just underneath your sternum. It's above your navel and underneath your sternum. Just notice the heat from your hands going into your body. Just notice which hand feels more warm, which part of the body feels more warm, the bottom hand or the top hand. And see if you can reverse that. Lovely, and then let's give our hands a little shake. So we'll change hands, so we'll put the other hand at the bottom and then the other hand on the top. And again, just notice the heat coming into your body. Just notice which hand you feel a stronger heat coming from, which part of the body feels warmer. And then we're going to try and switch to get the other hand to feel warmer. and release. Lovely. Okay. Just check that you're still comfortable sitting, and you might need to get a little bit higher if you're finding any stress in your back, or if your knees are bothering you, you may want to prop something under your knees to give your knees support. So just check that you're okay. Now let's just switch our legs around. So if you had your right foot in front, maybe give our legs a little shake out first. And then we'll just switch around so we have the other foot now in front. We've got our hands just loosely on our laps. Let's get our Ujjayi breath back again. So as we breathe in, just imagine we're bringing the breath in through the front of the throat and out through the front of the throat. See if you can get a feeling of your shoulders just descending, just dropping towards I don't want to say towards the floor because you're not going to land on the floor, but dropping down basically, yeah. Okay, then we're just going to start gently to rotate one shoulder. In my case, it's the right one, but if you were doing it in the mirror, it would be your left. So we're just gently, and as we rotate it, can we, nice and slow, let's just see if we can work with the breath. So we're coordinating that rotation with our inhalation and exhalation. See if you can notice that rotation from inside our body. And we're going to rotate the other way now. Feels a little more strange to do it that way. Even close your eyes so you really feel that. Nice. And then just finish by rolling it back and down, and then we'll start the other one, the other shoulder. Nice. And rotating the other way now. There'll be one way that feels more easy for you to do. See if you can coordinate that rotation with your breath. It's amazing all the tension we don't realize that we're holding in our shoulders. Someone's trying to get in. Lovely. And then we'll do both shoulders now. Again, coordinating the rotation with your breath. Lovely. And changing round the other way. Great, and then we'll rotate back and down. Lovely. Okay, now from there, I want to just do a little bit more of this closing and opening in the chest. I'm going to do it really mindfully. So start off, let's just close in. So you're drawing your shoulders in, you're concaving your chest. So you're getting a stretch actually in the back. And as we do that, let's take our arms round so that we're giving ourselves a hug. Now, if you're living in isolation, this might be the only hug you're getting today. So really notice the warmth in your hands. You can move your fingers a little bit. Notice the connection of your hands on your body. I'm just going to close our eyes a little bit, maybe just rock slightly, and just really notice the warmth and feel. Funny how some of you are going side to side. For me, I want to go back and forth. Are you a side to side rocker or a forward and back rocker? Yeah, feel the warmth through your fingers, through your hands, into your body. Getting ujjayi breath in through the nose, out through the nose. Imagine you're taking the breath in and out through the front of the throat. Lovely. And then we'll open the arms. And again, we'll do our Titanic movement. So let your arms go slightly back, so as if the wind was blowing into you, bringing the sternum forward. Breathing, let the shoulders drop down. Let's hold for 3 more breaths. Lovely. Now we're going to cross the other way. So whichever way you did before, like bring the other hand on top. And again, see how far around you can get your hands. And then we're going to feel our hands on, if you try and have your hands more to the side, and then feel your hands connecting with your back. Just let your chin drop slightly. You can close your eyes and just notice the warmth from your hands going into your body, and you can gently rock if you like. Following your breath in through the nose, out through the nose. Which hand feels warmest? Does one hand feel warmer than the other? And if so, see if you can switch where you're feeling the warmest hand. And just notice how nice it feels to be giving yourself a hug. And just remember at any time throughout the day, if you just feel that you need a hug, remember that you can connect and give yourself a hug. Just to take the time to feel the warmth going out through your hands into your body. And then we're going to open out again, bringing the chest forward. Just imagine the air streaming from the prow of a ship. Taking in the breath and just enjoying the freedom. Beautiful. Lovely. And then release. Great. Okay, so from there we're going to just let your fingers do a little stretch. Just going to do a few little sideways stretches. So we're taking, in this case it's my left hand, we'll rotate the hand. So see if you can get a feeling of rotating from the upper arm, and then we're just going to stretch up leaning over a little bit. So more think about the stretch up through the body rather than the sideways lean. And taking your time just to feel that breath into the body. Bringing the shoulders away from the ears if you can. And then inhale, come up. Let's change sides. So we're going to see if we can get that rotation. Rotating the inner arm, the upper arm outward. Stretching, send the arm up to the ceiling. Feeling that stretch down, in my case, the right side of the body. And then we can just go a little bit to the side. Keep sending the arm up. Just till you feel a nice stretch through that right, in my case, the right side. Breathing. Can we straighten it out? Send the fingers even further away. Keep the shoulders down away from the ears. You might notice how you're drawing your belly slightly in and out. Lovely. And release. Great. Okay. Right, so from there we're going to, some of you will be very glad to know that coming off out of sitting. And let's just initially go into our kneeling position. So we've got our knees under our hips and we've got our hands under our shoulders. And we're taking our fingers nice and wide, spreading our fingers. And then we're just going to take a breath in. Again, keeping the Ujjayi breath going, keep getting a sense of breathing in through the front of the throat and out through the front of the throat. So as we breathe in, we're going to round the spine. Let our tailbone tuck under. And let the chin come to your chest. Just imagine like there's a big balloon blowing up and you're getting soaking the belly in. Let's just hold that for a few breaths. Lovely. And then we're going the other way. So coming back through neutral. And then we're going to bring our sternum forward. And just let our spine go into a little dip. Shoulders away from the ears. Breathing. You might notice that you get a nice little stretch in the middle of the spine in between the shoulder blades. As you keep the shoulders away from the ears, just keep bringing the sternum forward. You're having to be quite active in your hands to do that. Lovely. And then we're going to go back down into pose of child. Now I know for some people that's not really, if that's easy for you to do, just go ahead and do it. But for some of you that's maybe a bit difficult, there's ways that you can work it. You can have some blocks to land on. You can have something under your bottom so that when you go down you've got support. Or if you find it's your feet that are bothering you, what you can do is use something to raise up your toes so that your toes are over the top of, in my case, a bolster. So there's various ways that you can use your support, use your props to help you, but at the end of the day we want to get a feeling of dropping the front rib cage down towards our legs. And at the same time, if you can get something high enough For some of you, I know you can easily reach the floor, but if you can't, then if you have something so that your forehead has got something to land on, probably better if it's something soft. So we're just going to use the breath now to soften through the front of the rib cage. And just keep noticing the breath, noticing as you breathe in, how you just slightly push in into your thighs. And as you push out, you slightly come away from your thighs. Now, provided you take the time to use props as you need them, this is a really very, very reassuring pose, very calming pose, because you really can notice your body, you notice your breath, and whatever else is happening outside of you. If we come back to our own physicality, to our own breath, to our own body, to our own skin, bones, and we realize that we personally in that moment are okay, then that can be very reassuring. So we'll just hold it for a bit longer. And another thing I would like you to just be aware of, keep in the pose. Hello, Kirsten. Yeah, carry on, is just to notice as well that as you relax through the front of your rib cage, notice that you can also get a feeling of relaxation in the lower back. So if you are somebody who tends to hold tension in your lower back, see if you can get a feeling of that as you breathe into the front ribs. And one last thing to notice, if you think about your hands where they're touching the floor and your wrists and your forearms, as you exhale, can you soften through your arms a little bit more? Just letting go of any tension that you may not be noticing that you're holding in your arms, in your lower arms and in your hands. Lovely. And then from there we'll inhale and come back up. And this time we're going to lie on our front. Did you notice that? Did you feel how your fingers, your hands can get really light when you just let go of tension that you don't realize that you're holding on to? Okay, so we're going to lie on our fronts now. Now okay, so if you're comfortable lying on your front, then just go ahead and do it. A little tip for those of you who find when you lie on your front that it causes you discomfort is you can use a bolster or indeed a folded blanket, and you put it just underneath just across here, where the top of your legs, and then you'll find when you do that it makes any pressure you might be feeling in the lower back, it just takes that away. So take a moment to lie on the floor, and I'd just like you to get your breath going again, feeling as you breathe in how your belly slightly pushes into the floor, and as you exhale, the belly slightly raises from the floor. You may find it's actually easier to take a deep breath when you're on your tummy. So just enjoy that feeling of lovely deep breath in, softening the base of the spine. You can get a feeling of letting your legs descend onto your mat. So you're giving the weight of your legs to the mat. And as you do that, you may feel that they start to feel lighter, and the lower back also starts to feel lighter. So just now bring your arms, bring your hands so that you can see them, so they're in front of you. And then I want you to notice, just imagine that think about your right hip, and think about the lower bit of the right hip, and then draw a line up to the top of the hip, and then across to your left top of the left hip, and down to the lower part of the left hip, and then back to the lower part of the right hip. So you've kind of got a long rectangle. And then included in that, make sure your rectangle's big enough, it's bringing in your pubic bone as well. And just think of that long rectangle. Can you just let it settle more heavily onto your mat without clenching in your buttocks, just dropping that long rectangle down onto your mat. Check that your feet are actually apart. And then as we drop this rectangle onto the mat, this long rectangle, can we then also slide it slightly forward? So as you slide it slightly forward, you will start to engage your buttocks, but don't clench them. And then with your hands on the floor, see if you can bring your chest up off the floor a little bit. Keep that feeling of sliding your rectangle down into the floor, letting it be heavy into the floor, and then sliding it forward. And that'll have the effect of letting your tailbone begin to tuck under. If that's okay for you, you can just walk in a little bit. Breathing, shoulders away from the ears. Let's see if we can hold that breathing. Keep your buttocks soft, don't grip. Rather think about sliding your rectangle down and forward. And then if that's okay for you, you can walk forward a little bit more. Keep bringing your rectangle forward and down. And keep walking your hands in as some of you can go quite far. Really open the chest. You can have your elbows slightly bent out to the side. Breathing. And then look up if you want. Nice. And then we're going to come down and just relax, and you could just let your head go to one side. And completely relax your body. Noticing as you breathe how your breath fills the belly and the belly swells into your mat and comes up back into your body towards your spine. Let's try that again, shall we? So if you found that your spine feels a bit pinchy, then do take the time to roll a blanket and try it with the blanket here, because you're able to open the chest much more if you do that, and it's a really lovely feeling to open the chest in that way. So we've got our feet parallel. We're allowing our breath to swell into the floor, softening through the front of your feet as well. Now again, if you find it's uncomfortable for your feet, you can use something to rest your foot on to make that easier for you. Okay, so we're taking our hands on the floor. So we're recreating our rectangle from hip to hip, passing through, including the pelvic bone. And then we're just allowing that to drop more heavily down, keeping our buttocks soft, so we're not gripping, just a dropping, and then we're dropping and sliding. Now as we slide forward, we will engage slightly in the buttocks, but it's not a grip, and then we're going to just come up a little bit, see if we can get our chest to face forward. If that feels okay, you can begin to lift your forearms. If you're comfortable with that, you can walk your hands back. And some of you can get really the arms right in towards your body, opening the chest. Really let your shoulders come away from the ears before you lift your head. Check you've got your sternum forward, and then you can take your head back. Breathing, keep your buttocks soft, open the chest. Very nice. And then from there, gently calming back down. And then this time take your head in the other direction. Just relaxing for a few moments. Just notice the ground underneath you. Notice how your mat, the earth underneath it, the ground underneath your mat is supporting you, holding you, sustaining you. And it is quite safe just to give more of your body weight to that mat.
See if you can get a feeling of lightness in the legs by just allowing the weight of your legs to descend more strongly onto your mat. Breathing into the back of your ribs, the back of your body, noticing that expansion of your lungs behind your back, into your back ribs. Lovely. Good. Okay, and then from there we're going to come back up and going to find our chair. So in my case, I've got a nice fireside armchair, which is the right height for me, but you can use an ordinary dining chair. And what we're going to do is bring our calves onto that chair, and then we're going to just let the rest of our body relax. Now, you may want to have a cushion under your head. I might just bring that screen down a little bit. Lovely. Okay. So if you find it easier for you to have something under your head, because you want to be able to tuck your shoulders under so that you're broadening across the front of your chest. And just play around a bit till you find the most comfortable position for you. You want to feel that base of the spine, the lower spine, is really able just to relax. So just take a few moments to get that nice position. You might want to be further away. Sometimes if you go in too close to the chair, you find that your tailbone tilts at an angle and then you can't properly relax it. So if you go far enough back so that you can get your tailbone down, and we're making what we call a flat diamond. So if you make a diamond shape with your thumb and forefinger, and then if you bring your thumb just below your navel and your fingers just above the pubic bone, then we want that to be flat. So if it's tilting up, then you need to just you need to move further away. Yeah. And then less common, but if you're finding that you're lifting your thumbs higher than your fingers, then you need to just allow the back ribs to settle. And it may be that you need something under your head in order to be able to do that. Okay, now we're going to bring our right ankle in front of our left knee. If you want to, you can stretch out your arms. Now, if you want to get more stretch, just slide. We're looking to get a little stretch in the right glute. You can slide your foot to the edge of the chair. And then you can just let your elbows relax a little bit so that you're not tightening in the neck. And then we can just rotate our head from one side to the other side. Breathing, exhale to one side, inhale to change. Exhale, turning to look the other way. Inhale, back to center. Okay, so let's bring our feet back on the chair. And we're going to swap. So we'll take this time the left ankle in front of right knee. And if you want to get more stretch, sliding your heel forward just to wherever works best. So we're looking for a little glute stretch in the left glute there. Softening into that stretch. Bringing the awareness back to the Ujjayi breath in through the front of the throat and out through the front of the throat. Can you let the back of the shoulders drop a little bit more heavily onto your mat? And we'll do a little rotation, so exhale, rotating in one direction. Inhale, crossing over to the other side. Inhale, crossing over the other side. Exhale. Just stretch down to the right. Inhale, coming back to center. Exhale, going to the left. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, go to the right. Nice. And then inhale. And back to center. Lovely. And then from there, we're just going to stretch our arms. And then if you should go down your mat, so you come off your chair. And then just have a good stretch. Breathe. Really let the breath into your body as you stretch through your arms. Lovely. And then we'll bring our knees up and we'll just let our knees flop down to one side. In my case, it's to the left. And this is where having some cushions or some blocks might be helpful. You can then drop your arms back down to the side. And we're just going to let these knees go to the left as we turn to the right. Turn our head to the right, keeping our right shoulder on the floor. And just have a lovely stretch. Breathing. If you happen to have a wall to push against with your right hand, that gives a nice feeling too. Lovely. And then inhale, coming back to center. And if you were using blocks, you might want to switch them to the other side. So we're going to let our knees come up slightly, take them over to the right as we bring our left shoulder down. And breathing, just softening into that stretch. But you want it to be gentle enough that you can easily take a lovely deep breath. So you don't want to be going so far that it's causing your body to tense up, because that's counterproductive. So we're looking down the left arm as we take the knees to the right. Breathing. Lovely. It's like wringing your spine out, you know, when you've got a dishcloth you want to, or a floor cloth. You rotate one way and then the other way, so you get that lovely wringing out action. You might feel it in your hips a bit too. Great, okay, beautiful. And then we're going to come out. And then from there, we're going to just take our blanket and get our legs in a straight line, letting our toes fall out to the side, away from the heels. Tuck our shoulders under. Make sure you've got something under your head if you find that helps. And we're going to just let the body drop down onto the mat. Just being aware of the rise and the fall of your breath. And remember, if you like, you can always bring your hands onto your stomach and just feel with your hands how the breath rises and falls. Can you particularly feel backs of the shoulders? Just allowing them to rest heavily onto your mat. You might notice that the more you can let your body weight drop to your mat, the lighter the body becomes. If you're lucky, you get that lovely feeling as you drop your weight down. You get this lovely feeling of lightness into your legs, into your hands. You get it in your head, in your chest. And then we're going to just take a deep breath, move our fingers and toes, stretch our arms and legs, and drawing up our knees, we'll just rotate to one side. You can bring in a cushion to put under your head. And just taking a moment on one side, just noticing how your body's feeling. And then using your hands to support you, pushing ourselves up, back up into a sitting position. You can use your supports to sit on. And just take a little moment because you might feel a little bit woozy. And we're just bringing our hands, first of all, on our knees, feeling the spine centered. Just feel that ujjayi breath. Feel the shoulders dropping away from the ears. And then let's all finish together. Thank you all very much. So this will be going up on YouTube, and if you like it, by the way, if you do like it, and leave comments, it's very helpful to get feedback. And remember, it's a resource that you can use again if you feel the need. Okay, thank you.